Hello and welcome to the Drawing Animal Podcast with Wesley Bear. I'm your host, Wesley Bear, and on today's episode we will be talking about the Takahe. Yes, the Takahe, a strange bird from the South Island of New Zealand. Yes, this very island where, of course, the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit films were made, and of course many more films in the future afterward. But here we're talking about a weird, strange bird that inhabits that area. So, there is a bird called the Takahe, and it looks like basically a giant chicken, or hen-like, or maybe even just kind of your general fowl. But it actually belongs to a group of birds known as rails, which are semi-aquatic birds known for walking and stalking the shorelines, looking for small things to eat of ocean lines throughout the world and coastlines. Takahe also prefers muddy and swampy ground, and even a bit of the shoreline, but rather than looking for small little critters, the Takahe, with its splayed out feet, walks through marshes looking for sweet grass to eat. So very much like the Hoatzin, it has a strong appetite for strict vegetarian diet to the point where it's eating grass, though there is some indication they will eat seeds and other little things occasionally. Takahe is a flightless bird, being about 6 pounds in weight. It is the largest bird of South Island, New Zealand, and when it is young, the chicks hatch from eggs that produce fluffy little black balls. So they're basically black when they're born, and then slowly grow into the birds depicted here, which are a bluish, greenish color with a large red beak and a little bump on the nose that is very distinguishable. The Takahe, though, is unique also because it is one of the biggest conservation success stories in bird history, as this bird was once thought to be extinct. Much like the Guam kingfisher, being an island bird where there's few natural predators has often been a hamper for many of these species. While the Guam kingfisher was not flightless, just any place where you have a strong group of birds that don't rely on having to fly all the time, or at least have any real recognition of predators, can be quite challenging when there is a sudden introduction. And that is the same thing that happened to the Takahe. When Europeans came to New Zealand in the 1700s and 1800s, they brought over with them, quite accidentally in some cases, quite a few animals that would eat birds and birds' eggs. This included weasels, rats, and cats. Now, some of this was quite accidental, but of course, with being a huge population of Takahe and other birds that had no knowledge of such predators, pickings became quite easy and populations soon drastically declined. However, that was not the only Takahe's downfall. The other downfall was deer, the introduction of deer to the island of New Zealand. This was mainly done as a method to create sport and hunting opportunities for the people of New Zealand. But it had some drastic consequences. Big one being that basically deer, which of course eat grass, had basically torn up the countryside. and did so in great numbers, and soon there was basically a population boom of deer that provided little for the way the grass to grow, and little time for that grass to grow back as the deer ate and ate and ate. Takahe usually don't eat that much grass at a time, and they strip it in such a way that at least allows some time for grass to grow. But with deer, there was just basically a strip mining of the land, and there was basically nothing left for the Takahe to eat. And with predators slowly dwindling down the population, there was basically nowhere for the Takahe to go. And basically, by the 1890s, the bird was believed to have been extinct. Thankfully, unbeknownst to some, or many, I should say, the bird did survive, and in 1948, a small population of Takahe was found. Now, due to the nature of this bird having basically only one egg at a time, the population increase of Takahe has been slow, but thanks to conservation is now basically into a place where it is fairly comfortable, but still in a place of somewhat uncertainty, as the population of Takahe is now listed as vulnerable, with about 528 birds as of 2024. There are about 2 national parks in the South Island area that are the main places where Takahe are kept and heavily researched and kept away from public viewing. So it is still a highly restricted bird, but it looks like the population is slowly but steadily on the rise. So there you are. There is the Takahe. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I will now hopefully start providing more links so that people can go and see what the bird looks like themselves and gain a little more information than what's in this podcast. So, in the meantime, enjoy nature, enjoy drawing, enjoy God's creation, and have a wonderful day.